Listening is the most important communication skill, not speaking. And in this video, I'm going to give you 4 principles for effective listening. Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Lambert from How Communication Works. This is a channel where I teach you about communication skills so you can improve your relationships, succeed at work, and be more confident. Okay, let's get into these 4 principles. Principle number 1, prepare your mind and the environment. So think of this as like internal preparation and external preparation. Both are important. In terms of external preparation, what you really want to do is control distractions. Find a quiet place. Find a comfortable place. Put away your phone. Turn off all your notifications. Close all your screens. Turn off the television. Turn off the music. Create an external environment which is conducive to focusing on the person that you're listening to. In fact, more than just turning off notifications, put away your phone. There's scientific evidence that the mere presence of a visible phone decreases the quality of conversation. So put away your phone, prepare a quiet, conducive external environment. The second part of preparation is internal preparation. I think this is probably even more important than the preparation of a conducive external environment. And that is prepare yourself to be receptive. So that means trying to reduce the internal distractions, calm yourself, make sure you're capable of focusing, make sure you're well rested and you've had something to eat, and you've had something to drink and so on. But also put aside whatever and set an intention to be curious, to be open-minded, to be non-judgmental, and to devote your full attention to the person that you're listening to. This also means trying to let go of our preconceived notions, our preconceived judgments about the person, about what they're going to say, about how we feel, and also trying to regulate our own emotions. I've said in other videos that I think emotional regulation is probably the primary communication skill, because no matter how good a communicator you are, if you're extremely emotionally agitated, you're not going to be able to perform at your highest level of skill. So get yourself regulated. If you're really not regulated, if you're extremely upset or tired or frustrated or angry or whatever, it's probably not a good time to have a conversation where you're going to be trying to listen well. So internal and external preparation, that's principle number 1. Principle number 2, focus on understanding, not on preparing a response. Focus on understanding, not on getting your point across. You are eventually going to have a better opportunity to get your point across, because most people are not capable and willing to listen carefully to your point of view until they've been heard. And you might think, well, I should be heard first and so on. But in the spirit of good listening, you have to sort of be generous and be willing to understand first. What does this mean? First, defer judgment and avoid interruption. You may think you know what they're going to say. You may think you've heard it all before from this particular person, but try to set that aside. That's part of your emotional preparation from step 1. Let people finish. Don't interrupt. Let them completely say their say. You can say, say things like that, but don't interrupt and don't formulate your response while they're still talking. But what we really want to do is try to be in a receptive mode. And then when they're done talking, we can pause and take time to formulate our own response. Second, listen to the entire message. In a formal setting, this is not as appropriate in an informal setting, but in a formal setting, take notes. So one way of capturing and focusing on understanding in a more formal, in a business setting, in a school setting, is to take notes. So that's principle number 2, focus on understanding, not responding. Principle number 3, active encouragers. That's just, oh, yeah, right. I see. All that stuff just tells the person, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm paying attention, and it encourages them to continue. And this includes nonverbal encouragers, so nodding, all this smiling, making eye contact, all of these things encourage the speaker to keep talking, and they signal to the speaker that they have your full attention. The second, ask questions. Listening is not a purely passive act. You may have often heard the phrase active listening. That means many different things, but one of the things that it means is that we should participate while we're listening. And the most important way to participate, in addition to these active encouragers like is to ask open-ended questions. That means ask questions that cannot be answered with a yes or no, or even just say, tell me more, or can you tell me more, or questions that start with what or how or who or when. Why questions like, why did you do that, sometimes seem a little confrontational or aggressive. I'm not saying never use them. Sometimes it's useful and important to say, wow, why did they say that? Or why do you think that happened? What we really want to do is invite elaboration. So curiosity is the thing that's motivating us when we're listening. So be prepared to ask questions to invite people to say more. And third, paraphrase and summarize. This is one of the most important and valuable listening techniques. So we're listening, we're focusing, we're asking open-ended questions. And then when there's a pause, instead of responding with our point of view, we just take the opportunity to summarize and paraphrase in our own words what they said. Three things: use encouragers, ask open-ended questions, and paraphrase and summarize. And finally, principle number 4, responding thoughtfully and respectfully. So here's the part of listening where we get to actually respond. So one of the first things you can do when responding thoughtfully and respectfully is pause. Just pause. You're taking the time to think about and fully absorb what's just been said. And since while the other person was talking, you were focused on them, you actually didn't have time to formulate your response. So when they're done talking, you can pause and think about what they've said and think about your summary. And if you're taking notes, refer to your notes. And this pause lets you gather your thoughts, make sure you've understood. Before I would respond, I would say, what else? And in the long run, one of the things you want to do is to seek feedback.